Coming up, coming up on Mountain News this morning, leaving jail and going to work can be tough for anyone, which is why some officials are working to bridge the gap. And we'll take a look at the latest book from an award-winning Kentucky author.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are coming up on 6:30 this Friday morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
All right, Madison, I do have to ask you said before going into the break you would actually have a little alligator if it didn't get that big. Seriously? Love it, though. In the meantime, check out the beautiful sunrise as we look from the station out to the east and southeast. Temperature-wise, we're in the mid-50s, and yeah, we're in the mid-50s as well at Moorhead and Ashland, near 60 at Pikeville, and near 60. Good morning to you out in the heart of Pulaski County at Somerset. Scattering clouds on the overnight period. You can see that on the web camera outside our door here at WYMT, and yes, northbound towards 64 and beyond. More in the way of cloud cover issues as this disturbance will end up rotating through the flow and bring us a partly sunny sky with those cloud cover issues today. Scattered showers, maybe a thunder shower, and a forecast high in Hazard up into the mid-60s. Kind of an identical day for tomorrow before it's pleasantly cool and bright for Mother's Day. All the details with the First Alert 7-day forecast in just a few moments. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Dozens of employers gathered in the Corbin Center to discuss ways to bridge the workforce gap for people leaving jail. WYMT's RJ Johnson shares how they are working to help people across the region.
Bridging the gap between jail and labor. Officials are working to better serve people re-entering the workforce.
This is a growing trend. This is a growing population, and there's a lot of resources out and about. I mean, the Commonwealth is, very, very blessed to have so many great organizations, so many great programs to do this.
Eric Pointer is the director of the Targeted Services branch of the Kentucky Education and Labor Cabinet. He says they are working to set those getting back into the workforce up for success.
We can serve them together, and we can usher and escort and navigate individuals from where they're at to a level of success.
Which may be anything from employment or education.
Breaking the old cycles of offend, go to jail, or be involved with the judicial system, and establishing new cycles of, hey, get up, go to work, go see your kids, do the American dream.
Seeing success in other regions of the Commonwealth, Pointer says they can make a lot of change in the mountains.
Housing individuals in our detention centers is expensive, and it's expensive on the taxpayers. If we start changing that narrative and changing that conversation and changing those trajectories, we are going to change that impact.
To maximize local and state resources by helping change what comes with leaving the jail cell. In Corbin, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Pointer says by helping the people using their services, it can make communities across the region safer. A Somerset man is behind bars after he was served with an indictment warrant by the Pulaski grand jury for sodomy. Charles Eldon Richardson was arrested at his home without incident. Police say this stems from something that happened in 1997 in Pulaski County. The investigation started when the victim, who is now an adult, claimed that when they were 10 years old, Richardson sexually assaulted them. 18 people have been arrested in a drug roundup in Buchanan County, Virginia. There were 38 people targeted in the drug bust. Officials with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office say a total of 18 indictments of the original 137 returned by the grand jury were served. Some of the charges include distribution of a schedule-controlled substance and common nuisance. A Jackson County teacher is under investigation. Jackson County Middle School's principal shared a message on Facebook. It says, the school suspended the teacher Tuesday because of allegations. It does not name the teacher or say what the claims are. We do not know if law enforcement is involved. 3 people were arrested after a drug bust in Harlan County. The incident happened earlier this week at a home in Kaywood when police were executing a search warrant. After arresting Marco Hopkins, they found marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and money, among other things, on him. T. Skidmore was arrested after police found her hiding in a building on the property, and Ashley Lewis was arrested on a Harlan Circuit Court indictment. A woman was charged with assaulting a police officer in Clay County. Police arrested Angela Lovins on Thursday. Lovins was charged with resisting arrest, public intoxication, assaulting an officer, and littering. Lovins was taken to the Clay County Detention Center. One home was destroyed by a fire in Clay County. Officials with the Manchester Fire Department were notified of the fire around 11:30 Wednesday night. Officials tell us it happened on State Highway 1524 in the Goose Rock and Brightside communities. There were no injuries reported from the incident. It is not known what caused the fire. Of course, this comes after there was a fire that burned a building on the other side of the county yesterday morning. Kentucky State Police Post 9 is hosting its annual car show next month, raising money for the Shop with a Trooper program. The car show is on the calendar for June 1st with a host of awards expected to be handed out to car enthusiasts, from Best of Show to Trooper's Choice. Public Affairs Officer Trooper Michael Coleman says the event is a great day of fun and fellowship, with all proceeds helping to buy more gifts for kids during the annual Christmas outreach.
It's going to be behind Applebee's there in the lower parking lot next to the river. So you've got all the restaurants there to be able to go up and eat at or use the bathroom or whatever. So we hope everyone can come down. We hope the weather stays nice that day. Hope everybody can come down and just enjoy it.
Registration for cars will take place on site June 1st at 9 a.m. Shirts and more will be available during the event. The car show is not the only thing on the books for Post 9 this June. Trooper Coleman will be taking a trip to Trooper Island as well. Many posts are still looking for kids to take part in the 2024 camp, with applications open now, inviting area kids ages 10 to 12 for a week of free fun. From canoeing to sports, the island is designed to bring a stress-free environment to kids who may otherwise not be able to enjoy a summer camp or vacation.
Monday morning when we take off, the kids are usually a little bit shy, but by the end of the week, you know, they're basically hanging off your leg and asking if they can come back next year, because they see what a great time it is down there. They get to make friends from kids from here in the community, and also, you know, get to spend time with us. We're out there, we're playing basketball with them, football, whatever it may be, and it's troopers that live and work right here in their community.
You can find applications for Trooper Island at your local KSP post or by going to our website. Crystal Wilkinson's roots run deep in Kentucky. The award-winning author and former Kentucky Poet Laureate has written works of fiction and poetry, but her latest book is unlike anything else she has published. Praise Song for the Kitchen Ghost is a culinary memoir complete with comforting recipes, but also an acknowledgement to her fellow Black Appalachians. Amber Philpott reports.
For many of us, the kitchen is the heart of the home. It's a place where we gather and where food brings us together.
So many of our memories are triggered through food.
Crystal Wilkinson, former Kentucky Poet Laureate and author, has written on a number of topics, but there's one that's been central throughout: food.
Food and storytelling is a way for us to cross our divides.
Wilkinson's latest book, published earlier this year, is unlike anything else she has written. Praise Song for the Kitchen Ghost is a culinary memoir. While it does have recipes, it's not just a cookbook, but instead traces her lineage through food and her roots that run deep in Appalachia.
This book sort of traces my mostly matriarchal, there's some men in there as well that are kitchen ghosts, but it traces them all the way back as far as I could go to 1795.
Raised by her grandparents in Indian Creek, Kentucky and Casey County, Wilkinson was often in the kitchen.
You know, one of my earliest memories is standing on a chair, peeping into the pot with my grandmother. I wasn't cooking then, but I knew that the kitchen was a comforting place.
The book pays tribute to those kitchen ghosts, the spirit of 5 generations of Black country cooks in Wilkinson's family. People like her granny Christine, who after she passed away in the 90s, Wilkinson missed terribly during the holidays. It was her grandmother's dress that helped her cook that first holiday without her.
And so I went back into the bedroom where I had one of her dresses, and I brought it out and hung it up on the doorway in the back of my kitchen. And, you know, I felt like she was there.
Wilkinson has traveled the country promoting her new book.
There is cornbread in my blood. I can make it in my sleep.
She often refers to the book as a love song to Appalachia and the importance of the African-American influence on it. The cover of her book features who she believes to be the daughter of her ancestor Aggie, who was enslaved and later became a free woman married to the white man who owned her. It was family history she learned while researching the book. It's those deeply personal stories she now gets to share with others.
Women have not always had a voice, and black women have not always had a voice. And to be able to give a voice to these women on the page, and for them to be, you know, country, black, ordinary women who are standing up in some ways on the page.
Wilkinson has spent her life writing about what she knows. The kitchen is a place she calls home.
So I think food is unifying and stories are unifying.
And it's a place she hopes continues to bring us all together, oftentimes with our own kitchen ghosts looking over us.
You can tell it's been a long week. It's Friday, and I thought I had a tease here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go over to the system here because I ended up going ahead. You know what? This is actually a good time just to be able to highlight two things. Number one, because it's a relatively benign weather pattern, this is actually back, I believe it was 1988 in Bell County. Middlesboro, an F3 tornado ended up pushing on through. And reflecting back on this, trying to remember now, this was Tuesday afternoon up towards Slade and Powell County at Natural Bridge. And we got a number of photos courtesy of our sister station, WKYT. And the report came back from the Weather Service office as they went out and did their survey. It was a microburst, straight line wind damage, and it was pretty uniform. And by some of the descriptions with people up around your way, it ended up taking about 3 or 4 minutes of a lot of persistent wind, which is more indicative of a microburst versus any type of tornado type damage. Benign weather pattern means it's, well, relatively quiet. How quiet? We'll explain. Your first alert 7-day forecast with good news for Mother's Day coming up in a few moments. Madison?
Thanks, Tim, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:41. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. A family demands justice after the shooting of a U.S. airman on his own doorstep at the hands of a sheriff's deputy.